So the question is, what happens when you run out of movies to pull from? You know, what happens when you can't pull no more villains? You know, you ain't got nobody else. You got no more legacy characters. The only one we really haven't had yet is Hilary Swank.
Right.
And I would love it if she came back as a villain.
Right. Oh, as a villain.
Yeah, because she was the Karate Kid in one of the movies.
Right.
I love she came back and was just crazy.
Oh, no.
Danny's like, what's happened to you? I'm sorry, what'd I do?
We weren't even in the same films.
I'm the Karate Kid, bitch. Okay, all right, take it. On that Cobra Kai. Over here, people. Now that old Daniel and Johnny are finally friends, and all these kids have stopped tearing up the goddamn town, assaulting adults with just random acts of karate. These people just break out. If y'all have ever seen Cobra Kai, so we're in season 6, and I'm not going to sit up here.
Is this season 6?
This is season 6, sir.
Oh my God.
And I'm not going to sit up here and do a big recap. At season 6, either you in or out. You know, I'm not going to sit up here and recap 5 seasons for you because, you know, if you haven't seen it, then you don't give a shit. I promise you.
And even if you've seen it,
maybe not. Well, yeah, like this man, he'd say, I'm not even watching this shit. So, you know, I get it. But this is the series where it's the continuation of The Karate Kid, where it picked up with the first season, Daniel LaRusso and Johnny. What's Johnny's last name? Oh, man.
Why am I blanking on that?
Lawrence. Johnny Lawrence. So Daniel's become a successful car dealer. Johnny's life has gone to shit.
He's a loser.
He's a complete loser, but somehow, some way, what happened to the world? We root for Johnny a little bit more than we root for Daniel. I mean, goddamn, Daniel you got everything you want. Got a beautiful wife, you got a successful business, you make a lot of money, and you still hanging on that old shit out there. You know, and I can understand Johnny doing that because that's all that Johnny got.
Right. No, well, now it's flipped where Johnny's the underdog.
Yeah, Johnny's very much the underdog. In fact, the first season, Daniel was kind of almost the bad guy in a way. They even flipped it to where if you looked at it, it's like, Danny's like, why'd you always beat my ass, Johnny? Johnny's like, man, you remember when you pulled that shit where you sprayed us down the shower and you tried to run like a punk and that's why he beat your ass? That was you.
Oh, did I do really? That?
Oh, yeah. I was kind of always an asshole. And then they realized, you know what? We were all assholes back then. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and put that in the past and maybe, hey, let's do something for these kids out here now. So they start teaching the kids karate. They both got opposing dojos and Johnny has his. And now this is before they were friends. Johnny has his, Daniel has his dojo, and because now they have their grudge going, all these kids have a grudge against each other, and they just start tearing up this goddamn town, man. They tear up the school,
the mall,
the food court at the mall. Then all these kids, at this point, they're almost felons. They should be in jail. Uh-huh. I mean, it's more than karate. They start doing mob shit. They start doing gang shit. They just start doing things that like criminal acts, man, to each other. I'm talking about kids.
Aw.
I didn't know you had a cat.
We don't.
Damn, that cat is strong.
That's not our cat.
That cat's like, where you going, bitch? I told you I don't want to go in the house.
Heard what happened?
No cat.
No shit.
and somebody called an ambulance.
Yeah. Through his head.
I think I'm losing a lot of blood here.
I like to think that it wasn't even one of the kids making cat noises. They had the cat hostage about to break his neck. Call him. Call him. Louder. But these kids are criminals, man.
Yeah, that was extreme.
That was very extreme. But here's the thing. Danny and Johnny, they did put their differences apart eventually, and aside eventually. And then they said, hey, you know what? Let's really work with these kids, man, for these kids. And so they also had a common enemy. Kreese came back and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, this season, Kreese is gone. Tony Silva, if you've been watching the show, one of the other villains from another Karate Kid, Terry Silva. Terry Silva's gone. All the villains are gone. Johnny and Daniel are working together. All the kids are at peace in the valley. But did I say all the villains were gone? That is not the case, man. some of these villains are still lurking in the shadows and just waiting to lure people back into the dark side. Although these kids of what is now known as Miyagi Dojo, that's one big unified dojo between Johnny and Daniel, they've all unified now, but that unity is threatened at this point because, now they have to compete with each other to see who makes it to the prestigious Sakai Takai tournament over in Spain. So now these kids, these rivalries are coming back up, and there are people who are around waiting to exploit that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for season 6 of Cobra Kai. Yeah! Everybody got your 6-pack? And your muscle cars roaring right now.
The Sakai Takai tournament is coming.
Champion reveal himself.
Yes, Sensei!
Oh, everybody knows old Kreese over here, man. Still got that Heat Miser haircut.
Part 1.
Part 1 of 3 parts. Yeah, they actually took a season and turned it into a trilogy.
It's so misleading. The final season in 3 parts.
In 3 parts. Now, they split in 3 parts, in all fairness. Split in 3 parts because they have one big story that they want to tell, and they thought that trying to tell, 15 episodes for Netflix, they're like, no, we want this binged, all right? You can cut this in 3 parts right now. So every part is, if you binge it, it's about 3 hours total. So, but listen, with a lot of respect to Cobra Kai, I believe Cobra Kai is a masterclass in how to successfully mine nostalgia. Because what they've done here is that they keep bringing back these legacy characters, but instead of just waltzing them in for cheap fan service, they gave them purpose. Now I'm talking about, maybe later in some seasons, that can be debatable, but in the first few seasons, I was kind of impressed how they just kept bringing characters in. And anywhere else that would be cheesy, and it's kind of cheesy here. People, this is soap opera trash TV, all right? And I said that from the beginning, and I love the first season. But this is soap opera trash TV, man. It's fine. These unlikely alliances were formed. Old grudges kind of remain with some other characters, and they come in and they would take things up or before they were just fighting. Now it's at a dangerous level, so people are losing their minds. And even from the worst movies, what they actually did that I thought was cool was that they were able to give some of these characters a second chance. Wasn't nobody thinking about no Terry Silver.
I know.
Ain't nobody thinking about Terry Silver at all. And Terry Silver ended up being one of their most vicious and popular villains.
You want to be Cobra Kai?
Also, the show had more of an edge probably than some of the movies. The movies were pretty much kid movies or family movies. This right now on
Rocky
Netflix.
for kids.
Yeah, exactly. This they're dropping F-bombs and the violence was bigger and it actually had a tone that was kind of all over the place, but somehow it worked.
Terry Silver was my favorite villain. Almost my favorite character.
Man, he had to come back and be the biggest villain. He has a ponytail.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. If you have a ponytail, you got to be the best villain out of all of them.
Right.
Shit, even Kreese was like, God damn.
Right.
This dude's crazy.
He was diabolical.
He was, man. So the question is, what happens when you run out of movies to pull from? What happens when you can't pull no more villains? You ain't got nobody else. You got no more legacy characters. The only one we really haven't had yet is Hilary Swank.
Right.
And I would love that she came back as a villain.
Right. Oh, as a villain.
Yeah, because she was the Karate Kid in one of the movies.
Right.
I love she came back and was just crazy.
Oh, no.
Danny's like, what's happened to you? I'm sorry, what'd I do?
We weren't even in the same films.
I'm the Karate Kid, bitch. Okay, all right, take it. And that's what's happening, man. With this, like I said, I've enjoyed this series, even at its corniest. I think I probably started saying it was starting to show its age. It kind of needs to wind it up now, wrap it up. But, looking at this, now that we got nothing else to pull from, you know, that's where you see at this point, that's where you go from, wow, you know, let's pull out that old recipe, but you know, let's add some fresh ingredients and let's put a new spin on it. You know, that's what the first season was. It's probably the first, second, and third season, fourth seasons was all right. Now I think we're at this point on the sixth season now that we've run out of things to like pull from. We're at this point now where we're at hey, let's just stick this shit in the microwave and warm it up. You know, I mean, it's still gonna taste good, but it ain't gonna taste as good.
It ain't gonna have that snap. It ain't gonna have that crunch.
It ain't gonna be fresh. It ain't gonna have that crunch. It's gonna be a little soggy in some areas. You know, the flavor might still be there. You might have to put some Tabasco on it, but man, I think we're kind of at the point now where it's like, all right, you know what? We're recycling. We're warming things up over and over again.
Yeah.
And it feels obvious at this point.
It feels obvious for a couple of reasons. One, look, you know you've been at this too long because these kids are no longer convincing as high school students. No. In fact, Kyler, I was just like, this dude looks like he's 30.
Yeah.
And all of them look too old, especially they try to still have them act and behave like young kids. I'm like, none of y'all are young kids anymore, and this is not working. But the other thing that's going on, you talk about recycling, even within episodes, they resolve a conflict, and then 2 scenes later, they rehash the same conflict that they just resolved because they're like, we got to do something to keep this going. And I was like, y'all are friends. You worked it all out. Oh, wait, you said this. Now you're back to being enemies at square one. Oh, but you can work it around, around next episode. Oh, you're friends again. I was like, good Lord, is this a merry-go-round?
Yeah, that's mostly Danny and
Johnny, Tori and Sam.
Well, you know, I'm gonna talk about them a little because I agree with you on a lot of that. One of the things that was getting to me, okay, so when you have to keep stretching things, or you have to keep recycling things, or you have to just kind of keep forcing things and repeating some of these same subplots and whatnot, you know, it gets ridiculous. You know, now this is getting so ridiculous that, you know, because they're getting desperate to find things to pull up now. I'm surprised the goddamn corpse of Mr. Miyagi didn't come walking around.
Right.
And you know what? I'm surprised he didn't come back as a zombie or a force ghost or something. Danielson, you know, glowing and shit in the background. Oh, Mr. Miyagi, what do I do? Danielson. You know, but with this is like, I'm joking about, of course, them bringing Mr. Miyagi's corpse back, but they shouldn't.
Yeah, they kind of did.
They dug his corpse up and mined that for what it was. I mean, people, listen. So they took, with Mr. Miyagi, every time they brought him up, it was sort of like, oh, we're bringing him up as respect.
Yeah.
You know, the man who, without him, we wouldn't have all this right here. They brought his name up as a means of honor. And now they got some mysterious backstory where they're like, oh, he might have done some shit.
Yes, yeah. The backstory is Mr. Miyagi had a life before I knew him.
Yeah.
This is wrecking me. It's like, did he die when you were like 20?
Yeah.
And now you're 50 years old? What is going on here?
Yeah, that boy, he's... I mean,
sometimes I don't blame Johnny. It's like, can we have one conversation where you don't bring up Mr. Miyagi? Goddamn.
Yeah, Daniel needed a damn father figure in his life. My daddy did. He ain't your daddy. Well, he was like my daddy. Yeah. And you're 50 years old. Shut the f up, man. The other thing is, your boy. Did I pull him up over here? Let me see. Your boy Kreese is back. As we said.
Jesus Christ. Even the way they ended last season with his escape, I was like, all right, this is too much.
Yes.
And what they're doing now, I was like, so he's wanted by the U.S. Marshals and he's just walking around.
His story is all kind of levels of silly.
Yeah.
I mean, and they ain't got no elevator. We taking the stairs from one level of crazy to the other. It's silly.
It's silly.
This is a man... Martin's right. How is he getting around, especially near the end of season 6? I ain't gonna tell you what's happening, but how is he getting around when this fool is a fugitive and there's a manhunt out for him? He says it. They're looking for me. And I mean, listen, y'all, it's the same thing with Madam Web. How you going to other countries? I don't want to say anything, but how you a fugitive? You going from country to country, and then they get so desperate to give him something to do because now we've gone through all the villains. This is what I'm talking about. Now we recycling. We rebooting with Kreese again.
Yeah.
And Kreese is stepping in, and it got so little to do with him except the same shit to actually mix it up. Now he's in some mystical stuff.
Right.
This dude has to go fight a magical snake. I'm not lying.
What?
I'm not lying.
Yeah. You know, the scene in Empire Strikes Back where Luke has to go into the cave. Yeah. It's here.
Yeah. My man got to go into a cave and do some Indiana Jones and face off with a snake, a magical snake.
Magical albino snake.
Yeah, I'm not lying, yo. That's where we getting crazy with this shit, man. Somebody said, what? Yeah. I'm not lying.
Yeah, you're watching that, you're like, so this is still the Karate Kid thing, right? Like, because I don't know, maybe I turned the channel and I didn't realize
hell,
it.
all of a sudden, the shit is Harry Potter.
Right.
I gotta go find a magical object and fight a snake for it. I mean, and
Yeah.
listen,
And learn from the ancient one.
man, and I was what I was gonna say. He confronts the old man from his past that should be dead.
Yes.
This is how mystical it is. And it's mystical and it looks terrible. All the rubber wrinkles on his face.
Uh-huh.
They made this man so old that you can see they glued the bushy white facial hair on him. And they're looking like a rabbit and shit. You can see where it looks so fake.
Yeah. It's like from a high school production of a Shaw Brothers film.
Yeah. And they still using the same strategy with him, which actually kind of made me laugh because this whole thing is, ever since the Karate Kid, this whole thing is just to find the biggest asshole in the group and just piss that dude off even more and then go in and exploit his anger.
I don't understand.
Just take
I'm
all.
like, I don't either.
I don't understand. Oh boy.
You don't scare me at all. At all. Let's go.
And you know that actor speaks perfect English. That's just his version of broken English.
Like
It's
Mr. Miyagi did.
I don't understand.
Hey, I do not. That's Quan. That's Kreese's new Asian Johnny that he's trying to get.
Asian Johnny.
Yeah, his Asian Johnny. He's trying to like get to be his new champion or his new boy or whatever.
Just from what I'm seeing there, though, the audio seems like it's pretty good. Like, I like the music, but at one point when he kicked the guy in the face, it sounded like he cut him with his toenails or something.
Yeah, I know.
Sound.
I mean, listen, the fight scenes, it depends on what you like. Like I think the fight scenes are pretty good, but they are cut a lot. You know, I was just watching a movie this weekend where they were doing some like just crazy fight scenes and they were showing people just fighting in groups.
Yeah.
I forgot, it's a terrible movie, but the fight scenes are pretty cool. And what happens with that is that no one was cutting. You saw people just beating the shit at each other, but the fight scenes are cool here. And listen, they've been doing, I'm not going to criticize the show for doing this because they just find just the most nonsense reasons for these people to fight.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
They've been doing that since the beginning.
They have.
You know,
I feel like they're doing it more so now, but yes, you're right.
yeah, because I'm trying to, there was one fight that I thought, okay, this is just stupid. I forgot what it was or where it started. But it was some stuff that started in public, and it was like, all right, they just do. Oh yeah, it was, and I'll show this in a little bit. It was at the
batting cage.
Batting cage. Yeah. So they just find reasons to do karate everywhere. You know, I will say this. I still think the show is fun in certain ways. I don't think that this is their strongest season. Of course, I don't know where this is going to go. You know, who knows where the next two installments, the next, I guess, 10 episodes where that will take us. But I still have fun in certain ways with this. Like I said, you can get past some of the other ridiculous things in here. Like, again, Martin already mentioned this, but he's talking about these kids. They keep saying these kids are in high school. And it's like, no, you ain't in high school, all right? You were 26 years old. And like the actor here, or the actress, Tori, who's played by Peyton List, I think she is 26 years old. And it shows, especially when listen, if you're going to have 20-something-year-olds playing high school students, then have them all be 20-something. Because when you mix them in with actual high school kids, you stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah, these kids are... These people are not in high school.
No. And they like even Zolo, what's his last name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, when the show started.
Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel. When it first started, I was like, okay, I could buy it. Looking at him now, it's like, nah, bro. You ain't in no goddamn high school.
No, hell no. No, and the kid still got a lot of charisma. He's still fun to watch, but he's not in high school anymore. It was this this scene right here, this is another forced fight. This is kind of like, all right, you know what? This is real soap opera shit where they just creating conflict so somebody can get their ass whooped.
Bitch, don't you know I know karate?
Yeah, that was in the frat house.
Yeah.
They do something in the frat, and they do this whole thing of, okay, I'm just gonna tell y'all, man, I've said this since the beginning. I've said this show's great, but the writing is not all that good all the time, all right? And the writing this season is pretty bad. They do that thing of, and they do this a lot of times, where somebody's talking, hey, you know that asshole who thinks he's gonna do this? He's not gonna do that at all. I can't wait to show him what's for. And somebody's around the corner like, oh, I must let him know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you know,
right.
they do that the whole thing where things are resolved by somebody catching the conversation. And these people out in the, not like they're hiding behind a wall or,
No.
you know, they're around the corner. They're out in the open.
Out in the open, just talking.
Just talking this shit.
Talking about their secret plans.
Yeah. You know that guy? We're going to get him, right? Yeah. I must warn him. Get the fuck out of here. That's terrible writing.
Oh, there's so much terrible writing.
And they always have that look on their face like, oh, I can't believe I'm hearing this.
Honestly, the writing in this is so consistently terrible. I kept expecting them to wink, and they don't. I was like, I was even serious about this. Because there's so many scenes where people have personality transplants just to either make drama or squash drama.
Yeah.
Because you had a whole thing with Kenny where he's like, man, I ain't with these people no more.
And Kenny, that's the
young black kid who used to be little. Now he's big. And yeah, his older brother is like, man, those white people, you stay with me. And then when they needed to get this resolved, his brother suddenly goes
well,
like,
I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, well,
yeah, we don't want to. Yeah,
well,
yeah.
it's just his brother has a complete 180 flip out of nowhere.
I actually kind of like that.
I would like it if it took some time.
That didn't bother me as much. I mean, the thing is, they resolved it too quick.
Yeah.
But you know,
they were like, we got an agenda. We got to have everybody be friends again. So squash beef.
I think the things I like about this is that I still root for some of the enemies in here that become friends. You know, especially when you can't tell if those friendships are going to last. Like all of this is a soap opera.
Yeah.
And it's been that from the beginning. Some things I can't excuse and just say, oh, that's a soap opera. That's why it's like that. You know, I can't keep saying that for everything. But there are some places where it really is intentionally a soap opera. And those things I didn't mind. Like I said, alliances, you know, changing, enemies becoming friends. There was real tension wondering, are these people going to continue to be friends? I actually worried for them. Also, you know, I like seeing these people who became friends, seeing them fight for each other because now they got another common enemy out there.
Ooh.
That would have broke his hand if he'd done that.
He hit a tennis ball.
Yeah. Oh, was that a tennis ball?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was a baseball.
We're just trying to help you, Kenny.
Tried to be nice. You knew when he got home. The white girls beat your ass. Get out my face. That's one of the things I do like about the show. I like seeing that these people really are struggling to actually be friends. They're really trying to struggle to keep the peace. They're really trying to unite. Only thing is, Danny and Johnny, y'all keep creating things for them to like fight each other and go against each other. Mm-hmm. Danny keeps talking about unity and shit, and then next thing you know, he's like making them compete, like best friends competing. You know, it's again, you can see where they're trying to create conflict, and they're forcing it sometimes. But we were talking about how Danny and Johnny, how those two, they keep bickering, and they do. Like they keep doing this whole cycle of, you know, they make up and then they break up and then they fight and then they make up again. Oh, let's do it for the kids, you know, and they keep doing that. And that's kind of getting a little stale to me. But when they do make up and they do work together, that is really the heart of the show. Danny and Johnny still are. You know, that's how it started, you know, from the beginning. Seeing those two trying to work out their differences. And, you know, when they do that, at least for me, that still leaves sort of an impact on me. So, you know, I still enjoy watching it, but man, you know, I have to say that, I'm glad this is the last season. You know, it's really starting to show where, okay, this has been, they're straining to get certain things. Shut up. They're straining to get certain things out of these storylines now that they can't go and keep pulling from these legacy characters. Mm-hmm. And, you know, this is the first 5 episodes of what is a 15 episode season. So I'm kind of reserving judgment until I see what they will do with the next 2 installments, because I've seen where they started out before and I was like, I don't know about this. And then they pulled it out and whatever slump I thought that they were in, they pulled it out of whatever bad area they were in, and then they did something interesting again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'll be willing to see where it goes. I don't even know if I'll rate this, at this point, because like I said, they broke it up. It was meant to be, when they started, it was meant to be seen, as one series.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll wait and see. Maybe by the next one, I'll say, all right, I can see where this is going. This is some bullshit or a rental or, hey, full price. I don't know, but I'll wait and see.
Okay. Well, I only thought this jumped the shark with the second season. But this has shown me like, no, this is how bad this could have been. And now it feels so much of just going through the motions. And it's like I say about so many sequels after they get to a certain number where there's just too many characters. So everything's kind of watered down. This has a way of being rushed, but also being padded and taking too long. 5 episodes seems like a lot for what story we have here. Like the things I thought, oh, you should spend time developing this, that they don't. And yet the other stuff is like, I feel like we could have got all this done in 3 episodes. So I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I just feel like this is the weakest season by far.
It's not going to have another one until November too. I don't know why they bringing it up like that.
Good
but
Lord.
Yeah, I don't know why you've been waiting so long. But hey. I think we'll all have a better idea of what this is like. Because I agree with you also, like it's starting to get very predictable now, with them kind of recycling these same storylines, especially with Kreese. But like I said, I enjoyed it. Listen, if I was to give it something, I would probably give it a high rental, but I'm not rating it right now. I'm not. I'm just going to see what happens. I didn't want to show it, but this is people from Cobra Kai. You know that dude I was telling you about, the mystical old man with the rubber wrinkles and that bad facial hair? There he is right there.
Yeah.
I told you that shit was bad. Look at that.
Fake ass beard.
Yeah, right? Look like one of
His
those,
face looks puffy.
it looks like one of those fake old man masks.
Uh-huh.
Get for Halloween. Well, you made it to the end of the video. That must mean you really like what we do. So if you do, check out these other videos just like this one. Check out our other YouTube channels and subscribe to join our wonderful Toasty community. And as always, stay toasty.